and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for a new episode of Anewgo of New Home Sales. I'm your host, Anya Chrysanthan, and joining me today is John Harding, who is a Senior Manager with Offsite Solutions. So I'm so glad to have you on the podcast today, John. Welcome to the show.
Anya, thank you. It's a pleasure. I'm really looking forward to our conversation.
Same over here. So, John, why don't you give us a quick overview of your role and how did you got involved in offsite construction?
Sure, that's a loaded question. I got involved when I started with CertainTeed and Saint-Gobain. My role with Autodesk was coming to an end, and I moved on to CertainTeed, and out of the Northborough, Massachusetts location, I became the program manager for the One Precision Assembly panelized system and working with the R&D team, working it through to develop the product and ultimately launch it. And we were targeting the offsite segment, and that's how I got involved from the very beginning. So it was a interesting time.
Very cool. So tell us a little bit more. So what is One Precision Assemblies and how does it really differ from traditional stick-built framing or modular construction?
Sure. So One Precision Assemblies is a panelized system. Think of a mod that you take apart. You have a roof panel, you have a wall panel, and you have floor cassettes. We actually will manufacture those to your specifications. And the neat thing is we actually go through the whole process of manufacturing, designing, transporting, installation, and do the full raising. So some of the differences, Anya, are the fact that it comes fully sided. It is fully insulated, both the walls and the roof. It comes with a vapor barrier. There's a couple different sidings you can choose from. It comes with windows. So the windows are flashed and installed in factory. It comes with exterior doors, and the team, CertainTeed team, will work with a local crane company to do the raising, final assembly, and in the end, we will do a blower door test where our goal is a 1 or less from an ACH 50 standpoint. So how is it different? When we stepped back and we started this project, it was a joint development agreement with a company called Benson Wood, who you may be familiar with in Keene, New Hampshire. Great company. And we started developing our panelized system. We knew how we're going to compress construction cycle time, how we're going to help with the labor challenges on site, but still provide a really tight enclosure, high thermal performing product. There's definitely a lot of site built folks who could do that. But when it comes to the time element, really we're focusing on that because there's a lot of things you can be doing in parallel with respect to factory production.
Definitely, especially with the labor shortage these days. I can imagine that is something that most builders are struggling with. So can you talk to us a little bit about how much faster does it take to put the house together? It sounds like it clicks together. You have everything from siding to insulation. So it's like building a Lego, right?
There you go. Exactly. I've been to a number of raisings and on an industry standard, and there's been some tests, and I believe it was through the National Institute of Building Science. They've estimated roughly 30 to 50% less time from start to finish with respect to offsite in general. Now, when you start drilling down into the different technologies, we haven't done a full apples to apples comparison. We're roughly 2 years, a little over 2 years on commercialization, and we took the crawl, walk, run approach. We're walking really fast right now, but we haven't done that measurement of how long is it going to take you to build it, site built versus our system. But what we found anecdotally that it does save quite a bit of time, stress, and energy for the builder.
Yeah, 30 to 50%, that's a significant difference, especially given the carrying costs. So it could save a ton of time, not only time, but also money. So what's included in the scope of work? What does the process look like?
Yeah, so they really appreciate the scope of work because we really wanted to offer something that was different in the marketplace. And I think one of the anecdotes you'll find out there is what I heard many times is a builder will try a new technology or a modular 2 times, They have some challenges, and then the second time, they may feel as though it's not the right fit, and there won't be a third time, and that happens 80% of the time. So we want to take a different approach because the challenge is you can get the product to the site, which we do, we ship it, and all of the manufacturing is based upon the architectural designs, so it's to that specification. The real challenge is the raising and final assembly on the site. So we take a very hands-on approach and we go ahead and have our own team take that part of our scope of work. So we're going to do the final assembly. So when our scope is complete, the builder will have a completely dried in structure. So then they have to focus on MEPs, interior completions, kitchens, baths, drywall, that type of thing. So I think that's one unique characteristic. And our system can go on slabs. It can go on a full basement. It can go on superior walls. It can go on a crawl space. So very flexible design as well. So we have some semi-custom builders and we have some production and we have ADUs and we have duplexes and a very flexible design scope.
Wow. So it sounds like the builders really have a lot of freedom to choose what type of customizations they can offer to their customers, which we know customization is something that people are looking for, especially when it comes to new construction. So that's great that the system is able to still accommodate some of those customizations.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
And you talked a little bit about the type of different builders that you work with. So if you had to identify your ideal avatar, like who would be the perfect builder for the system?
We've pivoted. We really like to work with smaller builders who aren't doing a high volume, but
Mhm.
over a period of time, we need to scale. We have two production points. One's in New Hampshire, one's in Pennsylvania. We're just opening up Maryland and South Carolina. So the volume of business needs to accompany that extra production. There are some firms that are private equity. There are developers, some small, some big, some builders who I would classify in the medium to almost large. Those would be really great targets and personas. And I think the key there is the repetition. The engineering folks in manufacturing love when we do the same design over and over again in terms of production, economies of scale. But at the same time, we realize that we still want to support the smaller builders and just had a conversation today for one up in New Hampshire. And absolutely, we're going to do that project with them. It's a mix, but it's changing and evolving over time.
That's great. So, John, earlier you said that builders will try this twice, but not the third time. So, I imagine that there's still some challenges when it comes to maybe some of the perceptions that people have that it's not maybe as durable as stick construction. Like, what are the most common objections that you run into when it comes to home builders? And then add-on question to that is how should then home builders talk about panelized construction to home buyers in a way that builds trust and excitement and not confusion?
Got it. So we have a document that we share with our builders. It's the Builder Market Development Kit. And it really helps them understand what's the value prop for the home buyer. What are they going to get out of it? What are some different documents that they can share? But I think a couple of them that are really going to resonate with a home buyer. Number one is the fact that it's going to get done in a timely fashion. There's a large amount of design flexibility that's really baked into panelized systems. So that shorter construction time, the sustainability aspect, the high performance that's really engineered based upon a lot of building science. I think we know that anytime there's something done in a factory, you're going to have better outcomes and craftsmanship and quality. I think all those are key elements that the builders then can relay. And we provide those types of documents to the builders so that they can explain those benefits to the home buyer.
Yeah, for sure. And I imagine the energy efficiency is probably one of those very important things that customers do care about. And we know that offsite construction tends to be even more energy efficient than stick builds. So can you explain how your system improves that energy efficiency and overall building envelope performance?
Oh, absolutely. So, this R&D project was well over 4 years. Now, part of that was COVID, so that slowed things down, but we did do some progress during COVID. But we had a number of engineers, building scientists who worked from the very beginning to try to make this something that it's going to be a very tight enclosure and high thermal performance. I guess a couple things. The first one is that it is an R25 insulation. It's blown in fiberglass insulation that is dense packed. And what's unique about that is that it's in the 2x6 cavity, and over that we have something called membrane, which is permeable and it's a smart vapor retarder. And that really gets back to the sustainability aspect in terms of moisture and managing that whole process. Further on the exterior, we use a Vicor wrap, which is a weather resistive barrier. It's self adhering, and the siding choices make a lot of that determination. We also offer a R5 continuous exterior insulation. So when we're working with builders and developers in certain geographies, we really want to try to understand what their objectives are. Are they trying to meet a certain certifications, like a zero energy ready home? What's really important to them? On top of that, we have also our roof assembly, which would go from R60, R45, and I was just up at a raising up in New York, upstate New York. It was on a lake. And sure enough, the builder there, they went with an R60 roof. And we were having that discussion about how they're heating it and the minimizing their costs. And his joke was, I'm going to light up a candle that should do it for the winter type of thing. Once you have a very tight structure, insulated, there's a lot of appreciation for that from a lot of builders. So we had a lot of emphasis how we're going to approach that. And then the assembly part is also very critical, how that's done, which ultimately the last part of it is that blower door test that really tests system.
It sounds like you guys are serving pretty much builders all over the country. So talk to me about some limitations that may be specific to whether it's location, transportation, site prep, or even potentially like a different code compliance. Because I can imagine that it can be a nightmare trying to figure out how this product fits into a place like Vermont or Florida, completely different codes.
Yeah, no, great question. So geography was always one we wrestled with early on, and a lot of it had to come down to the tests that were performed. Like, for instance, our wall panels get shipped vertically. How much settling is going to occur with that insulation? We did a lot of shaker table tests to mimic, road transportation and how far that can go. So we have a radius around those factories in terms of where we're going to go. But what's nice is I mentioned we have now Maryland and also South Carolina. We're going to be roughly east of the Mississippi, covering all states. The system is being modified as well because when it was initially launched, it was for climate zones 4 through 8. Now it's going to be roughly 2 and 3 will be added to that, but the interiors need to be changed because of the humidity and other factors with those climates. But we're looking to continue that expansion. But right now, we're going to focus on that area. So I think some of the challenges, I think what the builders and developers have to realize, it's a planning process because we build it 3 times and we built it virtual. We build it in the factory, not really build it, but actually manufacture the components. And then we build it on site. So there is a process that needs to be planned throughout. It's not as if you say, hey, I need a quote and I need to have this up in 3 weeks. That's not going to happen. So I think they really have to understand, let's plan through this, let's make it work, and they can see the benefit that way.
What marketing tools do you guys offer for the builder? Can consumers go on your website and kind of figure out different designs? Like, how does one begin this design process?
Yeah, so our business model is really focused on working with the developer or builder who then works with their clients. We do have a number of home buyers who are very interested in the system. And we'll make referrals if to builders we've worked with in certain geographies, if it makes sense. On our website, it's again geared towards builders, developers, architects, and it walks through the system. We have different videos of raisings. Because again, it's an education process. Offsite building systems are still a rather small amount of the total builds in the US. It's not like Japan, it's not like Sweden, but I think the focus and where we're going is it's going to continue to grow as that education process from the homeowner to the builder developer continues.
Yeah, absolutely. So, John, with just such a shortage of housing here in US, and I mean, I'm sure internationally as well, and pressure to build homes faster, how do you see the construction technology shaping the future of home building industry?
Yeah, that's a great question. And let me throw an example out there. I mentioned earlier that I'm part of the Offsite Solutions team, and we really have two main segments. One is, as we're discussing now, a panelized system that's going to help builders and developers make it faster, have very sustainable focus, et cetera. But we have a lot of our traditional products, siding, roofing, insulation, gypsum, that we work with a lot of offsite factories, which we sell our systems into or sell our products into. The feedback we've gotten over the years is they have a lot of challenges when it comes to finishing and gypsum. It's a big it's a big bottleneck for a lot of factories, and we've developed a few new solutions for that. One of them we showcased at the World of Modular, and it's a difficult to explain, but it's almost like wallpaper with some fiberglass, and it gets to a level 3 or 4 finish. And they've done part of the R&D team. They're measuring how much time you're going to save doing that, so the throughput could really come out and really help with building more houses, getting them out of the factory, those types of things. So that's where our head is in terms of that. That's one, but we do have a couple of others that are being worked on in the R&D stage right now. And we're also looking for further enhancements of our One Precision Assembly. Do we bake in the electrical and just do plug and play on site? Those types of things, again, that would help a builder become more effective and productive.
Yeah, for sure. I imagine going forward, it's going to be more difficult to find skilled electricians, even plumbers. So if it's all plug and play, it just seems like it makes sense, right? You come in and do some minor tweaking, and put some furniture in, and there you go. John, thank you so much for such an insightful conversation today. If people want to learn more about your products, what's the best way? Where do they go?
Sure, the best place would be certainteed.com/OPA. OPA for One Precision Assemblies. So we have that running debate. Do we call it OPA or what? But that's a great site, and you'll get some good information on the system and the technology.
It depends if you're Greek, then you go with Opa.
Exactly.
Otherwise, OPA. And John, do you hang out on social media somewhere? If people want to personally connect with you, what's the best way to reach out?
Sure. I think probably LinkedIn. And yeah, by all means, please reach out and let's have a discussion and see if there's some way we can help you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, John, for being a guest today. Really appreciate your time. I'm always curious to learn about new technologies, not just in sales and marketing, but also in building itself. So this is really cool what you guys are doing. And yeah, I think the future definitely seems to be more modular, and more builders are going that way. So I'm happy to be able to spread the word about the products available, and something to consider for future as you're trying to minimize costs and maximize the number of homes you can build in the time that you have. Thank you for being here today to share your story and share the vision for the future with us today.
Great. No, thank you, Anya.
Thank you. I'll talk to you very soon. Bye
Alrighty.
bye.
Bye bye.